Here you are in the chemistry lab ready for class. At Grand Valley we have many laboratories. Each is designed to benefit the courses that use it. This is a typical general chemistry lab. Your instructor will point out any specific differences in your lab on your first day. However, most of the labs have similar areas. In this segment we will take a look around the lab at the space where you will work on your experiments and the location of equipment you'll be using. First things first. You should eat something before your class. Those who do not have been known to faint in the lab, which could result in other injuries. However, food and drink are not allowed in the lab, ever. Some of the chemicals used may be toxic, and some may permeate into plastic. So to be safe, do not bring anything you intend to consume into the lab. If you have a water bottle or cup with a lid, you may leave it outside the lab on the floor and exit the lab to get a sip as time permits. Never taste or smell any chemicals directly. Your instructor will demonstrate the proper procedure when odors must be noted. This safety precaution includes using lip balm or chewing gum. It is best to avoid touching your mouth, eyes, and face during lab, and refrain from using personal items like phones, which could collect chemical residue. You will likely be assigned a bench space for the semester. Your jacket and backpack or other items should be stored under the bench in the knee space or at the coat rack. This may seem trivial to point out, however, keeping the aisles clear is very important to avoid tripping hazards for safety. As I said, each laboratory has a slightly different setup, but in general you will find a gas valve at the bench. It is important to keep sources of ignition away from the gas valve. If you smell natural gas, you should check that the valve is closed. Turn the handle to the right to tighten and close the valve. It's the same as most screws, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If you still smell natural gas, notify your instructor immediately. Electricity is also available on the bench, and some benches have small sinks. Please do not put trash, solids, or concentrated chemicals in the small sinks. If the solid or concentrated chemical does not go completely through the trap, the chemical will dry up. Then, when the next person puts something in the sink, a reaction, mild or not so mild, will happen and could cause harm to someone. Many labs will also have lab air and lab vacuum for use in certain experiments. Using the valve resources only when the experiment specifically instructs you to is an important part of keeping everyone safe. Each course is organized and set up differently. In some classes you will have a drawer assigned to you and your lab partner. In that case you will find a list of equipment that should be in the drawer. At the end of your lab you should make sure all of the equipment is cleaned and returned to the drawer for the next class. If anything gets broken, your lab instructor can get a replacement from the stockroom. Keep the drawer closed to avoid tripping hazards for other students. Some classes have the equipment needed for each lab set out in numbered bins. Your instructor will assign you and your lab partner a bin number to use throughout the semester. In these classes, the equipment changes from experiment to experiment. The equipment in the bins changes every week so that you will have the correct glassware and other items the week you need them. A list of equipment found in the bin is attached to the end of the bin in a sleeve. Broken equipment can be replaced by your instructor from the stockroom. Please check the list and make sure you clean and return all of the equipment to your bin. Let your instructor know if anything is missing so that it will be replaced before the next class starts. Sometimes the equipment will not fit in the bin or may be specific or specialized or fragile. In these instances, you will find the equipment on one of the side benches for your use. Chemicals are also distributed from the side benches or from one of the fume hoods. Chemicals should be poured into a small beaker at the side bench or fume hood and taken back to your bench for use. If a chemical is in a burette for distribution, you should dispense the exact amount into the appropriate vessel for the reaction. They are dispensed this way to save you time, so putting a chemical from a burette, a precise measuring tool, into a beaker, not precise temporary storage container, will not be efficient. Also, often, the burette will have an automatic filler on it which expedites refilling the burette. You know now where to find most of the equipment you will need for your experiments and where to store your personal items in the lab.